Sir, Pastor Mike.
Pastor Mike. Dr. Marbert, I promised Father Phil that if I couldn't say anything nice about Volusia Safe Harbor, that I wouldn't say anything at all. So what came to my mind when there was a previous speaker here was my North Carolina grandfather, who told me, Michael, any jackass can kick a barn down. What we're trying to do is build something here. And yeah, it's not perfect. Okay, there are a lot of changes that I would like to see that would fall into the category of tweaks. I have a particular issue with recovery, and that's a subject I know a little bit about. It's no secret. You know, just last week I passed 2 years clean and sober. I was given this ministry to the homeless as a direction to be able to help people. And that's what I'm trying to do. He's the homeless teacher, I'm the homeless preacher. So I'm an ordained minister just recently, and I want to serve in this facility. I'd like to, maybe run some of the 12-step programs, and help people, that are struggling with substance abuse. But one thing I do know is that Stuart Marchman is a locked ward detox facility. All right, so my question is, how are you going to encourage recovery when they go through 5 days of detox and then they're put back in general population when people are still in active addiction or alcoholism?
The First Off, Stuart Marchman has a locked facility, but that's not their only facility. And so they have many other programs around the county, one just like 8 blocks this way.
But when we're just closed.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I will say the biggest hole you got is when we're closing down. 150 people that were getting help suddenly one day weren't getting help. And so that's part of that patching we gotta piece together and fix. And you gotta fix that. We gotta get the volume up. It's not just the type of services, you gotta create the volume. Because right now there's no volume, or there's no excess in the system because it was lost with Windward.
I guess that my biggest issue with the work of the Safe Harbor Working Committee was that a lot of people criticize it because it's a box, and a lot of people criticize it because it's just warehousing. So I guess this is probably something you can't answer, but with Commissioner White in the room, I wanted to express my concern that if you're talking about graduation, you're talking about a transformational process. Where are these people going to live if the city doesn't want single room occupancy structures? And the motel community is sticking it to them at rates of $225 a week. Where are they going to live? So I think affordable housing, like Community First in Austin, and a lot, Michael Arndt knows about a lot of things. Can we make that part of the overall holistic plan from the get-go?
I talked about that in the report, and I say that's a critical part, because if you fix just one side of your system, it will clog up through other parts of the system. You have to work on the whole system. So again, tonight is talking about this, just like we're not talking about family and children or the other component parts. And for those of you who don't know Pastor Mike, I just have to thank him publicly. Normally when I go in a community, I go in as a homeless person for 5 or 6 days just to learn the flow, learn what people think about agencies. And on my 3rd day, I run into him at a food line, and he says, "I am looking for you." And I'm like, I don't know who you are. I knew he was, but I leaned over and I said, "I'll give you my very first meeting, but don't out me down here." And so he was very courteous not to do that. So thank you. So, and it's another thing. Pastor Mike brought this up on Monday. Is why aren't we going fast enough? I appreciate that. It concerns me. And Pinellas, from my first meeting with the sheriff to when we opened was 10 weeks. And there. And some places take really long. Sarasota's a year, 2.5, and they're about ready to get it solved. So Some places are longer, some are shorter, but I would encourage you to move as fast as you can, because people are dying on the street every week here, maybe not every week, but on a regular basis, because you don't have this problem solved. So, okay.
Dr. Barba, my concern is about the chronic weather, the severe weather and chronic homelessness. In DeLand, we take in about 25 to 30 people when the temperature drops to 40 degrees. Will you take in this situation and let them out the next morning?
What we do in Pinellas is we absolutely take in, we're by function a cold weather shelter, which is what you're describing. And so by automatic we take in people, but we take it a step further. When it gets real cold weather, I use that as marketing nights. Because I'm serious. This is about getting people in recovery. So we target's probably too hard of a word, but we get case managers to come in at night on cold weather, and we say, that's a new person who's not been here before. Let's get them processed, let's get them in the system, let's process, let's try to work. So to me, cold weather nights are great because that's part of the marketing, and a lot of the people are really deep in the woods will come out on those super rainy, the super hot, super cold nights. And we've had tornadoes go through in Pinellas, and we had everybody inside the shelter, which is a real safe place for it. And so I look at those as not a negative, I look at those as literally marketing, a way to get people into the program.